Is go woke, go broke true for movies? And by that, I mean, do woke movies lose money? I believe we have notes for this story. I'll bring it up. It's from StephenFollows.com. Decoding the world through data. So this is a data-driven story. No emotion here, no critiquing, but we've got notes for this, if you would, Badger.
Don't get upsetty spaghetti about this one, because the data shows that go woke, go broke is not a reliable rule. Sometimes progressive or identity-driven themes hurt box office results, and sometimes they help. Context, genre, and execution matter far more than the slogan suggests. So the researcher analyzed 4 million audience reviews and over 10,524 films. They tracked audience conversation about woke-adjacent themes, representation, identity politics, social messaging, canon changes, and cultural tone, and compared those conversations to profitability. This is not a political essay. It's a study of measurable correlations. So the study did not label films as woke. Instead, it measured when audiences perceived or discussed those themes, then looked for patterns. So where woke-adjacent themes hurt profitability, these risks showed consistent negative correlation, especially in expensive films. 1, any heavy-handed or moral lecturing, specifically in big-budget movies, audiences punish blockbusters that feel preachy or on the nose. 2, breaking continuity in beloved franchises. Fans react negatively. Shocking studies here. Fans react negatively when core character traits or canon are changed. 3, modern slang in historical or fantasy. This is the modern Star Trek problem. Modern slang in historical fantasy settings. It breaks immersion and feels pandery. And 4, perceived historical inaccuracies. Gay, black, in a wheelchair, king of England. Even small changes can trigger backlash if people feel a story is rewriting history. When audiences feel they're being lectured, pandered to, or betrayed, profitability drops. Now, I think we all knew that, so here's where it helps. This is woke adjacent themes helping profitability. 1, horror. Audiences are young and open to reinvention. 2, thrillers. Flipping perspective or canon can add intrigue. 3, sports films. Identity and acceptance fit the emotional formula. And 4, music films. Emotional and moral themes feel natural through song. These genres rewarded reinvention and inclusion more than they punished it. The slogan is too simple for a complex industry. Some films with woke adjacent themes perform well, others don't. Context matters. Big budget franchises equal the highest risk. Audience demand familiarity. Smaller or theme-driven genres equal more freedom to experiment. Execution and authenticity matter more than the theme itself. And then lastly here, success is not about avoiding or embracing wokeness. It's about authenticity, genre fit, respecting audience expectations, tone, and execution. A great story can overcome controversy. A clumsy message can sink even a giant IP. A good story, well told, will overcome most objections.
Okay. I'm green lighting the Leah Thomas story.
I feel like we all knew this though.
Yeah,
like,
nothing shocking
broke,
in that at all. Nothing shocking.
No. We meant that first part, right?
But this is a very long. We will put the link to this piece in the description.
There's a lot.
It's a lot. There's a lot of data. We could do a whole show on this article, but there seems to be not a direct correlation necessarily, but I would disagree with this on a certain point. A lot of movies are just, they're fine, and then there'll be something in it where you're like, you roll your eyes. You kind of ignore it and go, well, it was one sort of bad idea in a movie that's 90%, So what I'm saying is, I don't know this is really the way they're tracking it is necessarily the right way. There can be some small amount of what people would call woke in a film, and it does fine. I think a lot of people have gotten used to just ignoring the shit that bothers them. This happens a lot more in TV shows. By episode 3 of any TV show, there will be a gay romance introduced. I started watching a Netflix show that I was very excited about. Claire Danes, like a scary thriller. I like that actress. In the first episode, I was like, I don't want to. I turned it off and didn't look back. So
Pluribus very quickly turned into a lesbian romance show.
Right.
I'm still watching it, but I did notice. Yes,
they used to wait till episode 3, and now it's much earlier on. But
yeah,
Gotta get it in.
I'll
It's Hollywood,
tune out.
baby.
Well, what do you
Right.
think about these? And we can even revisit parts of this article to discuss more. What do you guys think?
I love the graph that was up there where the
Venn diagram.
the Star Wars like intersects all 4 of the
Yeah.
heart of
You're right.
everything.
It's perfect.
It's-
The heart of evil.
Funny.
Yeah.
I like how concise they put the first 4, which is what we always talk about: the historical inaccuracies, breaking canon, lecturing us, and or like that modern speak. Witcher, Star Trek, all of them. They all sound like they're just modern day talking.
Well, and then the
Right.
point about, big budget. Like if it's a big budget, general audience type movie, people are not here for agendas. We're here to be entertained. So entertain us when it comes to the big budget $200 million movie. And that's what they said. If you put something woke in a big budget movie, people are probably going to get turned off because you're already dividing your audience. You're already saying, oh, this is how we believe, and we're not just going to play it down the middle. We want you guys to, listen to our lecture and to our agenda and to our message. That's basically what I'm seeing. So, yeah, I agree with it's obviously nothing shocking as to what they said. It makes 100% sense.
Yeah, and they keep turning the fandoms against one another too, and that's like this weird combination as well, because you have to it turns to this place where people feel like they have to pick a side, and they're like, well, I guess I can't like this shit anymore because you've made me pick a side now, and so they're kind of creating enemies against their own fandoms and stuff too, which is such a weird and they haven't stopped, obviously. And they're I don't know, this whole thing, like y'all said, a lot of it is not necessarily surprising, and there are definitely other factors. Like, for example, even some of this, I didn't catch if they brought it up, but it's like the marketing. Some of it is just deceptive marketing, and that's why some of this stuff succeeds, where they bury the lead, and then you've already paid for the ticket, and it's something that you thought was going to be something absolutely different than what you actually got into.
Or reverse the Mark Malkin effect. Is this the gayest? Like if he just shut the fuck
Right.
up, Acolyte, it would have done horribly, but not as bad as
Right.
and
It's
various
also
other
like
products.
the creatives choosing activism over actually being creative,
Mhm.
and leaning into the canon, leaning into the lore, learning about the property that you're writing for, as opposed to taking like the lazy easy way and just doing what you want to do and being an activist over actually being creative. And then when you do change it, when you do change the lore, or you change something, you put in whatever themes you want, whether it be diversity, LGBTQ, feminist propaganda into all of these movies while breaking canon in the process, just to have, just to say, oh, this is what I did. This is my activist inclusion into this property that I did not come up with. Therefore, I should have absolutely no right to break the canon. Like the fact that these creatives, these people that are, writing for these IPs, to think that they can just change them when they
Don't
didn't
let
create them in the
temporary
first
people
place.
make permanent solutions.
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah, to your point, Steph, like they don't even understand the franchise. They're
No.
not fans. They don't care. They're not
Mhm.
here for the franchise. They're not here to give the audience something that the audience wants. They're here for their own purposes. They're
Mhm.
here to push their own agendas. We did not sign up for this to give Star Wars fans Star Wars. Hell no. We are here to push LGBTQ, DEI, blah, 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 whatever little letter you want to add to it. That's why they signed up for the project. And they're so happy that they have a large audience to preach to. All right.
Yep.
We get to preach to this giant audience of Star Wars fans. And, but they don't really care about the franchise. And they'll have zero problem with destroying it, with changing it. They think they're making it better. They start saying, "Oh, look
authenticity.
at how problematic Star Wars used to be back in the day." You know,
Right.
there weren't any
Yeah.
black people in Star Wars. Saw that nonsense a couple of weeks back. Weren't any black people in Star Wars. You guys hate black people, even though Lando Calrissian has been around since 1980. But yeah, that's the problem. They think that they're doing the franchise a favor by fixing all of the problematic elements of it. And the reality is, you're just destroying it, as you can see with Star Wars. All right,
They
They've
don't look
absolutely
at it
destroyed
as a franchise to improve. They look at it as a platform to preach from.
Yeah.
That's how they look at these IPs. It's just a huge platform for me to, preach my or to insert my agenda into it. That's all they look at it. It's just a big
Authenticity is all you need. If you're not authentic, you're violating basically every subset that we just mentioned. Like,
And if you
you're not a
look at
fan.
this, if you look at this graphic, it kind of looks like something the HR department would require for that a film have
Mhm.
all those elements: breaking canon, LGBTQ plus, diversity, gender diversity. It's all there. We'll put a link to this article in the description, but I feel like we'll be revisiting that article
Yeah.
at some point soon.
And
Because
don't they? Isn't Hollywood requiring those types of things in order to get accolades?
well, for the
So now-
Oscars, yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
for all the Oscars, only Best Picture,
Mm.
and it's diversity in front of or behind the camera. And they never did that before, but now, I think those rules go into effect not this year, but the next year. The nominees. We'll start talking about the Oscars next week, but it's. I feel like it's about the percentage of how, because there's some movies that are like, well, it wasn't that woke. It was generally a good movie, but there was this one thing that they threw in.
One guy was race swapped. Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
it's
One
not that
minor
big.
thing that you can just kind of overlook.
Yeah, it's like
that's when you have like the a good story or a good script, a good movie, when you can overlook those tiny things because the movie was really, really good. But when you prioritize diversity, all the DEI stuff over a good script, a good story, that's when you start to lose everything.
Yep.
Yep.